Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is your your main host and everything you know and love. The king that sits on the throne. King Kman here live up in the mountains in the Kman's Productions Laboratory. Oh, I feel the rush today. It is Friday, and of course, it's my day. Today, though, on the bigger topics of the day, we'll be talking about, the black man struggles. The black man struggles. It's not a lot of people talk about black man struggles, as everybody's more of the uplifting of women and other transsexuals and other means of that nature. There's nothing wrong with them. We just identify them. But we don't identify the rare species that's about to go extinct like black men, right? So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about mental health, some trauma, values, and different upbringings from my examples. And of course, we'll talk about, the conflict with black men perceiving the word love and doing the action of love when it comes to maybe a significant other, a family member, whatever. But of course, we always talk about the song of the day. So this is it's a decent song, I would say. I Want to Live. The song is by Kidron Bryant. Okay. And we're gonna talk about this. Okay. We can start off with the lyrics. I just want to live. God protect me. I'm a young black man doing all that I can to stand. Or when I look around and I see what's being done to my kind. Every day I've been hunted as prey. My people don't want no trouble. We had enough struggle. I want to live. God protect me. Just stay right by my side. As the young black man, talk about doing all that you can to stand. It depends on, a black man's struggle. It depends on the person. Not a lot of black men had to struggle in the streets of, let's say, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, three major popular cities, and most of them deal with a lot of black people, and they're in poverty, right? Not a lot of people have dealt with that, but the majority have, including myself, who deal with poverty, able to do what we can to survive. None of us, some of us got the 9 to 5 job, holding it down with 2 kids. Sometimes you even have a father, you may not have a father. And it's really sad, to deal with that. But you do what you can to live, as long as mom's providing, or maybe you don't have parents, you're in an orphanage, or you're in juvenile because you don't know how to feel, you don't know how to really understand anything, because you really don't have no parents, or you may have guardians, but they may not understand you fully. It's really about survival. Survival of a black man is not easy. You look around, you see what has been done to your kind. Yeah, your kind in America, always getting shot up and being blamed for something that they didn't do, but they still get sentenced to long life in prison. Like the George Floyd situation, people just police just randomly doing whatever they do and they want and feel like they can get away with everything. White privilege versus the black man's uh struggle. It's a lot that we endured, but people want to ignore that and try to be independent, and then try to worry about, you know, upbringing of other people other than the main ones that's been holding it down for centuries. That's just how I feel, though. As we continue on with the lyrics, so many thoughts in my mind. Will I live or will I end up dead? It is unequal sequel. No matter where I be, there's no place safe for me. Oh, 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 oh. I'm not asking for too much. So, Lord, please help. So, when it comes to that mindset, right? So many thoughts in your minds. It could be that, you know, maybe, you know, maybe it was a purpose for me to be on the earth, and then it was the purpose of me struggling for so long. Or you just probably think like, man, what did I do to deserve this? I feel like I didn't do anything, and I didn't ask to be in this world. I didn't ask that, my mom and dad decided to just, create a baby without thinking, or you know, create something to try to save them from their separation or their divorce or any type of relationship that they didn't want to be separate from, and they just use the child to try to bond everything together. Um, it's kind of hard, It's really hard to, as a young man, as a young boy, even to even consider thinking all that, thinking like maybe it's maybe it's a reason that I am living, or maybe it's just I shouldn't be living at all. You know, it's very unfair for a child or a youngin to feel that way and think that they shouldn't even be in this earth in a way, when everybody has a purpose, everybody has a will to do things. You just have to learn how to channel it. So you may have to ask for guidance to get to where you want that channel to be on, but you understand the point I'm trying to get across. You know? Yeah, but the song is really short though, so it's really short. It's not bad, but it's a pretty good song. It's pretty good at upbringings and everything like that. I kind of like upbringings. It gives me that good goosebumps that I needed. Um, Next, we'll talk about mental health of a black man. When it comes to like feeling like discrimination and depression, right? I pull up a website that I thought that it was going to be a good topic to talk about. It's called the conversation.com, and the top headlights saying black men face high discrimination and depression even as their education and incomes rises, right? This article was published July 21st of last year, 2020, 8 o'clock in the morning. The author is by Shervin Azira, and the other one is TJ Curry. At least TJ Curry kind of know. So what I highlighted was like, okay, study shows that we have done, and also those by other shows, that you are at increased risk of discrimination and depression. Our research is on the interactions of race and gender in the United States shows that while education and and income reduce the risk of discrimination and depression from whites and black women, this is not so for black men. It's underscore other research we have done that suggests black men are especially singled out as dangerous, threatening, and inferior. Right? Um, so one of the studies shows that in a study that followed 1,200 um, 1,200 black and white people for 25 years. For black men, the highest education credentials were associated with increase rather than decrease in depressive symptoms. That's a lot, right? Another study shows that 700 black adolescents were followed for 2 decades in Flint, Michigan. Perceived racial discrimination was measured in 1999 and 2002. We found discrimination during adolescence was in predictor of depressive symptoms as individuals transitioned to young adulthood a decade later. But this was the case for black males, not black females. And then I'm gonna look at another study. Our study applied data on people without their conscious knowledge hold stereotypes about others. Uh, our study applied data of the implicit association test, which measures how our brain struggles to match black faces with positive term of norm of nearly 405,000 individuals. No, 450,000. I'm sorry. Um, we found that white men hold higher implicit biases against black people than white women do. This is troubling because white men have the highest level of political power and make up the majority of police, judges, lawyers, and people who make hiring and promotion decisions. White men are also most likely to be the ones who write the rules and the laws, which makes perfect sense, right? So basically, what it's really talking about is why are black men being really singled out? Why they're being more depressed? Why our mental health is so uproared, destroyed almost, right? And it's only because of how things are set up for us in this world. We don't get a lot of opportunities as to being a lawyer, a doctor, anything that's high paying, right? We don't go to all these great schools, like, you know, we always go to a public school, and it has to be the one that's right next to the neighborhood or in the district, so that we don't get penalized for it, or go to the schools and you have to pay for school lunches, and the school lunches be trash, you know. And it's not even their fault because the school funding is probably trash. Um, so much adversity happening, you know, and even as teenager going into adulthood, trying to do certain jobs that you want to go for, but you don't have the experience, or you don't have the knowledge of knowing how to do it. And then when you're trying to find to do it, people don't want to show you how to do it, how to have a skill, to survive out here in these streets, or in the suburbs, or somewhere in the countryside, that how to survive. People don't want to teach that. Sometimes it'd be the old heads, new heads, people that are innovators and entrepreneurs. Some people just don't want to teach it. Some people are really just selfish. There are some that are just willing to show you because you are eager to, you got that hunger, that hustle mentality to do what you have to do to survive. It could be your pride that make you want to survive. It can be your family pride, your integrity, you know, your the ability to commit. That's so critical for a black man to even survive out here in these streets. So um I thought that article was pretty unique. Um you guys should definitely check it out. Theconversation.com. People need to start people are literally talking about racism nowadays, so it's kind of okay. It's okay to talk about it, but insulting people in the face about it is, it's never a good thing. But talking about it, it's always, you know, it's better to open up and then, explaining how you feel about certain things instead of just like yelling at people like, you are this. No, we don't do that here. Okay. We don't do that. If we talk about it and being open about, our views and show them like, hey, I may not like this, but this is the way it is. And I wish things could be like this, but they won't. Who knows? But at least saying something makes our brains better. It makes our mental health better to speak when we can, because we already have that right. It's just some people just don't know how to use that right. That's the thing. Um, and sometimes what goes along with that mental health is the trauma. So something could happen to us black men that make us more resentful, more uh, of a person that's full of resentment, and we don't want to share with the world because we all kind of turn into introverts in a way with our feelings. And if we express our feelings, it makes us less of a man. Or you know um if we don't prove to our group that we're not tough enough, we're probably gonna get shot or something, being in a gang trying to be tough. Or you try to do your best to try to protect your family, you know help your family off of poverty, or things like that. And it just diminishing if you don't succeed, and then you feel less of a human at that, but you feel less of a man, like you haven't really served your purpose or whatever, which it really shouldn't be in that concept. So I understand. I understand that. I mean, sure, like I said, not all black men has faced poverty like that, but they also face depressions of, okay, you don't fit in this group, or you don't fit into this society, and it just casts you out, saying like, you know, what did he know about this? This is not something that he practiced, or you're not even in a tribe or a group that believes in this, or they just simply just don't like it because of your skin tone. Some they're still, like I said, racism is still here, so it never went nowhere. So um, that's just the way mindset, but the mindset is still is. Um, then we'll talk about values and upbringings, right? Like I said, the upbringings, it all depends on the person, where they come from, how they behave, how they parents disciplined them, um how they've been loved, have they ever been talked to about certain important things that a young boy transitions to a young man needs to know. um that'll kind of make you identify like what kind of black man are you, and what kind of representation you trying to have while being a black man out here in these streets. Because you can't just be willy nilly out here whenever you want, and then you know you're not really gonna be remembered for anything. That's kind of how it is. Um, Values. You know, like I said, it just all depends on like your integrity. It all depends on what makes you unique, what makes you um feel like you belong. Well, you don't really have to prove to anybody that. It's more of whatever you need to prove to yourself, to be like, hey, I'm here. I am here. What's up? You know, my value. I value my own life. You know, and it's not because I'm a black man, as I'm a human, but being a black man in this world, I value that. I am the underdog, regardless of how people may feel about it. I am the underdog of the black society. I am the underdog of the entire society of race. And when I succeed, you will realize that my values have power. Words have power. So there's that. Um and then of course we'll talk about the conflict of word on the word love, right? For a black man to understand that. And then the actions of showing the love, right? So we all been raised in a way of like, showing some type of love. Um, I mean, at least I hope so, right? I hope so, but not a lot of people do. But at least how I was taught was, you always show love because love has always been given to you. Showing love back is just make it more of an equal opportunity, you know. Um, it makes you more humble. It makes you more willing to live because you got people out here looking out for you, and they protect you at all costs. So then, as life as you get older, you can do the same thing for them. They protect them. Well, some are not able to walk, or some of them are not able to speak, see, smell, all that. And let's say if it's a family member, of course you're gonna remember family because family is love. There's no if ands or buts about it. Now it always depends on like how your family will treat you, but there's always a different type of love for that situation. Like if it was a really bad Trey family, then of course there's a certain love that you can give before you feel like the vengeful child and you will come out and be like, no, I don't love them because they did this to me, they did that to me. Trauma, create trauma in my mind and make me feel like shit, right? But there are some that are just like always been there for you since day one, or there's some that just there for you, but they can't be there for you because they trying to put in that work of having a roof over your head, have clothes in your back, food, hot plate always in front of you every fucking day, and that's love, and that's something that you can see. You can see it, you feel it, right? You can grab on it. You can grab the love from another person and know that you're cherished, you're truly loved, right? That's showing the action of it. But then there are some people that'll use the word love but use it in a strategy way, a military strategy way. Like, they try to use love as a way of, getting to your money, getting to your finances, or get into your family's inheritance, your family values. Um, some are using it for, just for the hell of it, just for having a hell of a time in bed and all of that. And that's where the mind gets distraughted and just gets destroyed when it comes to a disappointment. When you give all the love you can, that that you're right. You felt that you were right to give that love because you could be doing no wrong, and then people do you wrong, and then you're just like, okay, all right, and then you wondering why you still feel bad and why you feel like your heart is just not there anymore because someone you thought you cared about didn't care about you. They put you in a corner and told you was just a little bitch. And I'm like, all right, cool. But of course, um, there's always a bounce back from that. But it just love is a very dangerous thing if you don't know what you're doing. Of course, you can get advice from a whole bunch of people that you do love, like your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your grandma, grandparents, your aunts, your uncles. They all can give you advice that what it is take to survive out here in the streets of a black man. And sometimes you just have to learn to make mistakes, learn to live your life how you want it. Sometimes you will fall for someone that you think that you were intended to be, but then it can't. And then there are times where you're just happy. and the other person is happy to be with you, and then you basically have, you know, all your values and all mental health, everything is sane, everything is straight, you know, your goal, not only your love goals, but your goals as a man set out in the world that you want to accomplish, they all being they all are coming true, and all because of the energy, the aurora of self love, love from others, um and um yeah, all that is all equivalent to where, you know, what makes a real successful black man, really. But that's really how it really goes down when it comes to um a black man's struggle. Like, people think like it's so overrated and redundant to talk about a black man struggle, and they think that all we do is complain and everything, but everybody has their right to say something about something they feel like is not being talked about. Like, being a black man is so hard to talk about unless, like, you know, when there's a line that needs to be drawn and everybody really agrees with it. Like the George Floyd, everybody disagreed about how the cop treated him, pinning him down with his knee, killing him. And now they talk about all these different situations where he could be on drugs and everything. And I'm like, bro, no. Crime is a crime. Let that happen in the 1800s, and let it be on the, you know, let that happen vice versa. We've been killed on sight. Okay. It's just not, it's just unfair. That's my opinion, though. At least that's how I really think about certain things when it comes to living a life as a black man and the black man struggle. Of course, everybody has something different about black man struggles, but it's always good to, you know, talk to another black man and be like, hey, this is what we struggle on. Yeah, this is what I struggle on, and we come in agreement, and you know, it's a healthy relationship. It's a healthy bond for the mind to know that you're not all by yourself about this fight or this cause of, like, hey, I don't feel good about this. Maybe we should do something about it. Just like how they do for women empowerment, just like how gay pride is, and and the whole community of that, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them standing up. But when it comes to a black man, it just seems like we're being so segregated or something. So I just felt like I needed to touch base on this topic. It'd probably be another time where I'll talk about this topic later on. But I feel like I wanted to really say something about it. So but that will conclude today's episode, though. This episode, of course, is gonna be on YouTube as well. On my YouTube called Kman's Productions. And also subscribe to the Chi-Town Gamers on there if you can. I'll see you guys on the next episode of The Real in Reality with King Kman, your man's the best in the world at what he does. You know what I'm saying? But I'll catch y'all on the flip, and make sure you're out here safe. You know what I'm saying? Social distance and all that. We got too many people dying. We don't need any more of that. Dead ass. Right. Peace, y'all. Peace in the Chi-Town streets.